Get into bed, buddy. Come here. Come here. Might as well come on now. You want to say hey to everybody? But you got to, oh, look at your face. You've been sleeping hard. Look at your face. Look at your face. Your face, you slept on that side? You slept on this side that's all red. Go show mommy, okay? Go show mommy. Hey, everybody. Wow, we're at 500, 600 people already. Donald Trump is broke. We'll talk about it in great detail. I've got some clips, some slides, some of the reporting from the New York Times. But I think it makes a lot of sense now how, hang on a second. Bubba, you got to go. Come on. Come on. Come with me. Go to mommy. Go show her your face. Show her where you slept. Sorry, he's supposed to be asleep, but I guess I woke him up. Donald Trump is broke. And he only paid $750 in taxes. Yeah. I just about pay more in taxes every month than this man pays in the whole period. He got a $72.9 million tax refund, or at least he claimed one, and that triggered an audit that he's in now. So it's possible that he can owe the government some $100 million. Let me check my levels. I want to make sure my volume, because it looks like my volume might be popping real loud. So give me a second to check that. Oh, Bubba, mommy is in the other room. Come here, come here, come here, come here. It's okay. Come on, come on. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Give me a second. Jada. Oh, he's supposed to be in bed. Y'all give me a second. I got to take my microphone off and take him. Cut the mic off for 1 second. We'll get started in 1 second. Give me 1 second for real. Okay, I saw somebody say my volume was good. So just give me 1 second to take him to mommy, and then we'll get started. But listen, I gotta. It's the image. Just so you know, the camera's on. It got a live audience of 1,000 people. Okay. There you go. At least I just want her to know, like, she's fly with it. It don't matter. She's fly. All right. Now, let's get down to business. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. We got about 1,300 people. Let's go. Donald Trump is broke. The New York Times released his taxes, or at least a summary of his taxes. I'll pull that up on the screen. And it tells us that he is nothing like what he's been trying to describe himself as being. A lot of people try to portray him as this businessman who is able to run America like a business. Now, we knew better than that. I want to start here. I didn't need to see his taxes to know his ass needed to go. Make sure everybody's in bed, right? The taxes are not the deal breaker for me. Everything else has been a deal breaker since day one. But if you see how broke he really is, the president of the United States has conflicts of interest that directly go against his oath of office. So the ways that he's going to make money, the ways that he's making money, and the people that he's indebted to, that really shows you why we are so destabilized as a country. He has really put the American people and the whole American democratic experiment on the line because he's broke. So he's trying to break America. And the reporting from the New York Times was extremely thorough. It really shows one of my favorite, like, this is low hanging fruit, and I'm just kind of stalling to like get my wits about me. I'm trying to get in the zone here. But the $70,000 that he spent on his hair in a year, $70,000 that he spent on his hair, on a hairstyle. Like, You know, it just shows the ridiculousness of it, how his golf courses were losing hand over foot, and that he directly benefited from becoming president of the United States. That was the biggest takeaway, where he was in decline in terms of what he was making around 2015. He needed a boost. What did he do? He ran for president. Little did he know that he would be perfect for taking over the Republican Party and actually win. So it was really a business opportunity. The running for president became a business opportunity for him, and it has become one that has devastated the United States of America. 203,000 Americans are dead because of how he handled COVID-19. So when I say I didn't need to see his taxes to know that he needed to go, I mean, there's 203,000 reasons why he should not be president of the United States. I want to get your input on this, so you could chime in on the conversation. Leave me your comments. I could bring them up on the screen. Darlene says that he's a con artist. Absolutely a con artist. All this has shown is that the Republican Party is really stupid. This is from Darth Duck 2001 on Twitch. Thank you for everyone who's watching via Twitch, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook. Thank you for hanging out with me. But I have put out an extensive video. It's about a 7-minute video summary of the New York Times piece. The New York Times piece is thorough. Let me just start there. It is ridiculously thorough, and they go through some key takeaways of what makes this so detrimental to the American people. It's detrimental to the American people because Donald Trump is for sale, right? Let's just start there. Donald Trump is for sale. He owes $100 million on the Trump Tower and has not paid a dime on the principal. He has not paid a dime on the principal of the Trump Tower mortgage loan that he has. And it's coming due in 2022. In 2 years. So if Donald Trump is acting a complete sociopathic moron, it's because he understands that in 2 years, he has to come up with the $100 million that he has not paid a dime on for. Now, I'm sure he's going to take there'll be some kind of financial instrument to help him, even if he goes bankrupt again for the 5th time, right? So it's not as though, you know, people like this ever are held accountable, really. But what it is that it just shows you that if he's trying to come up and get ahead, he's coming up and getting ahead at the expense of the American people. He has not paid a dime on that $100 million that he owes on the Trump Tower. And so here he is gallivanting around the country at the American taxpayers' expense, pretending as if he is the quintessential billionaire, when in actuality he's broke. He's not only he not only owes $100 million on the Trump Tower, but he also potentially owes the federal government, taxpayers, the IRS, $100 million when you add in all of the fees and interest that would be charged on the $72.9 million audit that's happening right now. So this is why he's been hiding it. He's been hiding it because he knew that if that ever came out, it would really show how dangerous it is for him to be president of the United States right now. It is extremely dangerous for this man to be president of the United States because he is in debt. The other thing that the New York Times piece showed, and I'm just kind of finagling it a little bit and getting it up on my screen, but the other thing that it showed was that he has taken more money from lobbyists and foreign interests than previously disclosed. So he is not only in debt, but he's also taking money from foreign interests. So I just want people to understand, like, most of us listening, we understand basic kind of debt, right? You owe your car loan, you owe maybe if you're lucky, you owe a mortgage. Most of us own student loans, and you understand how that debt controls you. So don't let Republicans spin their way out of this. Debt controls you. What they try to do, and this is the lie they always try to perpetrate, is that debt is good if you're a rich person. Like if you're a capitalist and you're a rich person, then debt is good. But whenever they look at your debt, my debt, you know what I mean? You end up paying what, 18% interest to get a credit card because your debt is so bad. Debt controls you. So what do you think $200 million in debt is going to do to Donald Trump? Do you think this man won't sell America out? Do you really think that this man would not sell America out just to cover his debt? Of course he would. Because not only does debt control you, but his megalomania controls him. His sociopathy controls him. He is sadistic. He is more concerned with his image. Now, he's pissed off tonight. You know this man is pissed off. He's probably fired some people, if not sent some people, disappeared some people. He is pissed off because the most important thing to Donald Trump is his image. The irony is, of course, his image to the rest of the world, anybody with eyes can see that Donald Trump is a moron. And Donald Trump is not what he tries to portray himself as, right? So now that this has come out, of course he's going to be infuriated, which is going to make him even more dangerous. Let me take a couple seconds and get your comments out. Let's say we're financing a cult leader to destroy the country over on Twitch. Absolutely. And I really wanted to talk tonight about the Supreme Court pick and the dangers of religious zealotry. And I could talk about that from my perspective because I grew up in the church. I'm still religious. I'm still faith, a person of faith, right? So people say, oh, you can't talk about religion. That's a damn lie. We absolutely can and should talk about religion in terms of how it affects their politics. But I bring that up in context of Donald Trump because Donald Trump is fomenting a cult-like environment. And his followers are dedicated to him as if he was a cult leader. And when you put that on top of the fact that he's picking somebody for the Supreme Court who's going to bring in the very worst of theocratic fascism, then yeah, 1 + 1 is disaster for us in that regard. You are mad because he's yelling fake news. Donald Trump is on Twitter yelling fake news. Okay, I'll pull him up I'll pull Trump up on my Twitter timeline, so we can see what he's saying in real time. I haven't had a chance to look to see what he's saying. So we'll go over to Twitter, see what the president is screaming, because you absolutely know. And I'm sorry, you can't tell me this doesn't matter. We're going to go through a week of people saying that this is not important. This is standard business practices. I want everybody to apply for a mortgage and let them know that all the debt that you have is just standard business practices. And you tell me if you get the mortgage or not. OK, because that's what Republicans are going to do tonight. And they're going to do all week long. Well, actually, hold on. I'll let you see it for yourself. Let me put this on the screen. This is the president's timeline. Got a fly in the house. This is the president's timeline. And he hasn't tweeted anything in 5 hours. Well, let me just make sure that's right, because maybe he's done a lot of retweeting. Yeah, those are all retweets. Retweets. So 13. Yeah, no, he has not said anything about it, which means he's pissed, which means it's true. Which means they're trying to get it together to find out exactly how they're going to approach this. But I can tell you how they're going to approach this, because it's the same thing that is happening. It happens for rich people all the time. Rich people, right? They're going to say this is standard business practices, and these are complicated. These are complicated things, and these are complicated instruments, and these are complicated issues, and that you need to be an accountant or you need to be an investor to really understand. And they're going to bring up somebody. They're going to bring up somebody who's an investor and say these are just standard practices, and that if you really look at the potential value of Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump's real value is somewhere in the billions, and so this is easily made up because of his brand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. BS, all of it. You know why? Because the president has $100 million loan coming due by 2022. He has $100 million that he potentially owes the IRS because of the audit that he's going through right now. He's underwater on so many of his properties, and his number one source of income right now, besides his name brand, right? And let's actually, before I go past that, I don't want to go past that so quick. His brand is one of his number one commodities right now, which means that he has to attach his brand to everything, which means he needs to be selling himself for everything, which means our president is for sale. The president of the United States is for sale to the highest bidder, to the highest bidder. And this makes him extremely dangerous, which is why he is so desperate to win this election. The president is so desperate to win this election because he has to. Because if he doesn't, then he is going to be in more trouble than bankruptcy can get him out of. That's what's going on right here. All right, so let's read a couple more comments. Let's see. Lisa Tompkins on Facebook. Let me see if I can get it up. Come on up. Tuck your tail and run to bankruptcy court, and he will be squandered every one of his Trumper dollars. Yeah, he really will. Narcissists like to keep power. This is from Audrey on Facebook. Antonio Wade said his name brand garbage only to dumbass like. I understood what you said in there. So you guys make sure you try to use some complete sentences, because I'll put your comments on the screen and I don't want to have to interpret them. But I understand only people who would like Donald Trump's brand are some really ignorant people, right? And so Donald Trump has, I want to go back to what the other person said, one of the first comments I put up, that he's creating a cult. His cult supporters don't care that he's broke. They don't care. They don't care that he's broke. They don't care that he's been lying about his financial situation. They don't care. What Donald Trump has found more than a country that he can undermine, because that's what he's doing. What he's found more than a democracy that he can undermine, because that's what he's doing. He's found a base of people who will follow him to Jonestown. They will follow him to the grave. They will chip in. I guarantee you, somebody is going to create a GoFundMe. I need to tweet that out. Somebody is going to make a GoFundMe for this moron, and they're going to raise money for their dear leader. Let me tweet that out. We're going to give it a few days. I hope that clicking isn't loud. Hang on, because I don't hear it, but it's very possible the clicking could be too loud. And while I do this, everyone, please do me a favor. Share, like, and subscribe. Take a second and click the share button. I want to make sure that we get the conversation as large as we can tonight. Where are my levels? Okay, it's not loud. Share, cross-pollinate. If you're on Facebook, go to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to Twitch. If you're on Twitch, go to Twitter. And let me get this tweet off real quick. Give it a few days. One of Trump's supporters will start him a GoFundMe and raise him, $1 billion. Hashtag Trump is broke. Hashtag, I'm sorry, guys. Trump tax returns. Let's get them all in there. Hashtag Trump. I got time to be petty. Listen, on some nights we're zen. On some nights we're reflective. Some nights we got room to be petty. Give it a few days. One of Trump's supporters will start not a Gina GoFundMe. Start a GoFundMe and raise him $1 billion. Send tweet. All right. Enough of that. Let me get your comments in here. I'm so used to calling out the phone number because we normally do a live show. But if you want to leave a voicemail, 857-600-0518 is the voicemail number. But more importantly, I want to get your comments right on the screen. Let's see. I like what Robert over on Facebook asked, or he stated it really. Why do you think he fought the release of his information for so long? Exactly, right? Because he knows. Donald Trump knows that his image is what is his brand, right? See, America's so silly that we allow Donald Trump to be synonymous with wealth. Rappers rapped about him. Movies had him do cameos, right? Trump's name was synonymous with wealth, and that was a marketing ploy. So if the taxes come out and show the reality, then you really do have to be a moron to leave his name synonymous with wealth. Now his name should be synonymous with debt. Trump's name should be synonymous with debt and bad business practices and being underwater. Let's see. Let's see this. Jessica said maybe by tomorrow that GoFundMe will be set up. I don't doubt it. Listen, like I said, these people will follow him all the ways to Jonestown, right? They have drank the Kool-Aid, and they will drink actual Kool-Aid to support Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a replacement for Christ. All these religious zealots, they have betrayed their faith in exchange for Donald Trump. They worship the golden calf of Donald Trump. In this case, it's just an orange, old man by the name of Donald Trump, but that's their golden calf. They worship him, and they really have not been able to break free from the delusion and the derangement that they have wrapped themselves into in their support for Donald Trump, because they have such a commitment to their rigid ideology. See, what it was they were rigidly ideologues all along, especially evangelical conservatives. There's a fly in my house and it's going to drive me crazy. They have been ideologically rigid for a very long time. You have two factions in the Republican Party. You have the evangelical movement. They're multiple, but we can summarize it. You have the evangelical movement, the Christian conservative movement, which is basically evangelicals and the Catholics. And then you have the oligarchs. You have the Wall Street people who want complete deregulation. The deregulation of the Democratic Party is not enough for them. They need complete deregulation. They need complete tax breaks, right? The tax breaks of 2017 from Donald Trump's not enough for them. They want even more. The fact that Barack Obama made the Bush tax breaks permanent is not enough for them. They want even more. They have an insatiable, this is the Wall Street branch of the Republican Party. They have an insatiable desire for more profits. The conservative religious branch of the Republican Party, they have an insatiable desire to control your body. The religious zealots in the party have been so ideologically rigid for so long that when they found someone, a useful idiot in the form of Donald Trump, because he's a useful idiot for them, they went all in. They started preaching sermons about him. They start drawing analogs between him and Christ. Right? They start saying that, no one has been attacked. Literally said this on the House floor, that no one has been attacked this much since Jesus Christ. Right? They made these kind of ridiculous statements. And so they have become so ideologically attached to Donald Trump that they have betrayed their own faith. They have betrayed what would Jesus do? Anything but what Donald Trump would do. And so those two branches of the Republican Party have found a useful idiot in Donald Trump, because he is doing anything that they say do. Because of that, they do not care about his taxes. They do not care that he's hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. They don't care the fact that he needs the presidency to get out of debt, which means that makes him a national security threat, because he will sell the presidency. He is selling the presidency. He has been selling the presidency. And so they're going to let him do this. That's the point. They're going to let him do this. They're going to let a man who only pays $750 in taxes choose the next Supreme Court justice 30 days before the election. 30 some odd days before the election. They're going to let this man sell our democracy. And it's more than just selling our democracy, which is bad enough. He's actually undermining our democracy. There are some things that Donald Trump is doing right now that is going to make it difficult for America to actually survive. Which is why, no matter what you feel about Joe Biden, no, let me not talk about you. Let me talk about me. No matter what I feel about Joe Biden, I don't have time I don't have time to worry about what I feel about Joe Biden right now. Okay? Right? I'll talk about Joe Biden on November 4th. Because Donald Trump is creating a situation where we won't have an America where we can criticize the president of the United States, because one, we'll either not have America at all, or two, he is coming down on our First Amendment rights because he does not see us, the Republican Party, conservatives do not see us as American. They don't see us as real Americans. So what Donald Trump is doing, again, all in context of his taxes, they don't care about his taxes. Conservatives are not going to be concerned about the fact that he's dead broke and that he's going to be selling America to the highest bidder, because what do they get? The religious zealots in the Republican Party get their theocracy. They get somebody on the bench who is going to be a religious zealot, who's going to repeal Roe versus Wade, going to be the first thing they do, right? Who's going to go and roll back labor rights, who's going to make Obamacare unconstitutional, who's going to deem it unconstitutional, who's going to roll back even more voting rights. Essentially, they're putting somebody on the bench that's going to undo the entirety of the 20th century, leading America towards a theocracy. And what are they going to do for the wealthy on Wall Street? Well, same thing they always do. They're going to make sure that they get even more profits. They're going to make sure that Wall Street has even less responsibility to the American government. Now I'm pissed off because I just remembered. This is the thing that pissed me off. I pay more in taxes than Donald Trump. I pay more in taxes than Donald Trump. You pay more in taxes than Donald Trump. And yet they act like they are the real Americans. The people who have the least amount of commitment to this country want to act like they are the realest Americans. They want and they work hard to make sure that they have the minimal commitment to our country, the minimum tax payment to our country. And they celebrate it because that's what they're going to do, folks. I can tell you the spin right now on Twitter right now. I haven't been on there except to send that tweet. But I tell you what somebody is saying. He's a smart businessman, and that's why he minimized his taxes to the government. So for them, look at the game. You got to know the game. You got to understand the spin, even though it's kind of pointless because they lie just to lie. They're hypocrites to be hypocrites. The hypocrisy is the point, right? Understand that. You can't point out hypocrisy to them because that's the point. But you need to know so that you are empowered to fight back against them tooth and nail. Because what did they do back when Mitt Romney ran? He ran on the fact that only 44% of Americans pay federal income tax, basically trying to make you feel guilty because you don't make enough money to actually pay federal income taxes. Watch the spin. What are they going to say about Donald Trump? Oh, he's super smart because he's a businessman, and good businessmen they always minimize their taxes to the government. So it's bad when you do it because you don't make enough money to pay taxes to the government, but it's good when they do it because that's what a good businessman does, is minimize their taxes to the government. At the end of the day, what they're saying is it's bad for you because you're not carrying your weight, but it's good for them because they're not carrying their weight. That's the double standard. And here we are with a country that has committed trillions of dollars in military spending because that money goes to all of their friends and all the defense contractors and people who have investments and their billionaire buddies, right? We spend our money there, but we don't spend money to take care of the people. And we don't spend money to take care of the people because they're more committed to Wall Street than they are to your street, but they're also more committed to them not paying taxes and you having to. They want a world where they can take your tax dollars and pay their defense contractor friends to make bombs to go drop in the Middle East so that they all can have their quarterly profit margins met. And they want it to be funded by your tax dollars and not theirs. And if you get bold and ask for Medicare for all, then they're going to call you a socialist. That's the game that they are playing, that they have always been playing. But the reality of it is they don't pay their taxes. These rich people don't pay their taxes. Jeff Bezos doesn't pay his taxes. We subsidize his employees. We subsidize his company because they don't pay enough in a livable wage. Walmart, we subsidize them with our tax dollars, but they're not paying their taxes. Let's hit 3,000. Everybody, we have 2,900 people watching across all the platforms. Let's hit 3,000. I only need like 70 more people. So everybody pause for a second and share, like, and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button because hitting the like button helps with the algorithm or something and more people will see it. Let's look at some more people's comments. Papa said, I'm not sure this will land, Ben. I think Trump will win by a huge margin in November. Never have seen so many black folks saying they're voting for Trump. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's get a few more people and let's talk about that. Oh, we're over 3,000. Let's talk about it. Let's go right into it. The reason you see so many people, so many black people being willing to vote for Trump is because, you know, as much as I like to, as pro-black as I am, black and I'm proud. Black is beautiful. I'm black first because the cops see me as black first. They're not going to see me as a Christian first. They're not going to see me as a father first. They're not going to see me as a progressive first. They're not going to see me as a humanist first. They're going to see me as black first. So since the cops see me as black first, I'm going to see myself as black first. Now, I lost 30 people as I said that much, but I don't care. Here's the thing. As black as I am, as much as I love my people, we got some morons in the black community too. Okay? Let me sip my tea on that. We got the conspiracy theorists who believe in Pizzagate in the black community too. We got the conspiracy theorists in the black community who believe that Donald Trump is the savior of, he's going to stop COVID-19, even though COVID-19 is a hoax. And we got all that in the black community too, right? We also have people who understand that it is a financially expedient path to prosperity if you are a black conservative. Ask Candace Owens. Candace Owens was a liberal first, but she's not really talented and she couldn't stand out as a liberal. So what did she do? She took her talents over to the conservative side and boom, she's a millionaire. You got plenty of people who understand the grift in the black community. So if you combine all the people, and then you do have some black conservatives, but the real black conservatives I know are all repulsed. Like they are really sickened to their stomach with Donald Trump. So I'm going to take the real black conservatives and set them aside because every single one of them that I know, they're turned off by Trump. What's left? The grifters, the conspiracy theorists, the Pizzagators, all those people. And it just is what it is. Now, here's why I bring that up. The coalition that we have to build is going to cross every race. It has to. Every religion, every orientation, every gender identity. I mean, from the north to the south, from the backwoods of Georgia to, our coalition has to transcend all of it. And the fact that Donald Trump is picking off a higher percentage of black people should help us to understand even more so that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But we got some kinfolk who don't have our skin color. We got people in solidarity with us that are not black. And you know what? We need to embrace them and bring them into this coalition because what we're fighting against is a multicultural, multi-ethnic group of collaborators of color who will work with fascism. And before we know it, we will have a theocratic fascistic system in this country that's represented by a very diverse group of people who are all on the payroll of white supremacy. So our opposition is going to be very diverse because Republicans do identity politics the best. Republicans know if they pay a black woman, then they could get Candace Owens to go out there and say everything that needs to be said for white supremacists. If they pay a Muslim man, Dinesh D'Souza or whatever, I don't know his religion, but whatever Dinesh D'Souza is, they can pay him and he'll go out there and say everything that needs to be said for white supremacy. So they play identity politics really well. And yes, Donald Trump is going to have more support in November than what we're expecting. But that means that we have to make sure that our coalition has a level of solidarity like we've never seen before. So we don't have time for all the games that used to divide us. We simply do not have time for that. We don't have time for the weaponization of identity politics. We don't have time for class reductionists. We don't have time for Karens who are just going to report. We don't have time for any of that stuff. We have to make sure that we are solid in what we believe and that we are solid in what we're fighting against because they know. They're not confused. They are not confused about what they're fighting for. I play this clip. I play this clip all the time. I got to go find it. You should know. Somebody put in the comment section, what am I getting ready to put on the screen? Because I need everybody to always understand what these people are fighting for. They have one goal. One goal. 1.5 goals. No, they have one goal, and that is to protect the white male Christian power structure, which protects capitalism. That is their goal above anything else. So I'm going to pull up this clip so that you can see it. And the reason I bring that up is so necessary to understand the context of that, because they're unified. They have clarity. They're not they're not squabbling over the little details. They're not squabbling over all the stark differences between neoliberalism and leftism. They have one goal, and that is to protect the white male Christian power structure in this country. Hang on, I got to look it up. Bill O'Reilly. Let me just go to my drive. It's a clip of Bill O'Reilly. I'm going to play it until you guys just automatically know that I'm getting ready to play it. Like when I just hint at it, I need you to already have that clip in your head, because it was back in 2008. He was with John McCain, who was getting ready to be the nominee for the Republican Party. And they said on their show, Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, on national news, said that America is run by white Christian men. And he lamented, he was sad about the fact, and John McCain was nodding his head about the fact that the left, that the radical left and the New York Times wants to undo that power structure. And the reason I bring that up in context of the person's comment about the election is because it doesn't matter how diverse their group is, they have one single goal, and it is to protect that power structure, because that power structure protects their money. Their power structure protects their money. He got money, Quinta. Does everybody get that? Now, I'm going to play the clip because I need you to be sure I need to know that you know for certain what they are unified around and behind. I'm going to throw it on the screen. Let's go.
Change, pardon the pun, the whole complexion of America. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. The second thing that on the left they're against is the temporary worker, as you know. We say 2 years, go back for a year, 2 years, go back for a year. They don't want that. They don't want them to have to go back.
But the strategy is
people can come and work.
Do you understand, and I'm not saying this in a condescending way, you're smarter than I am,
sure.
But do you understand what the New York Times wants
right here.
The far left want? They want to break down the white Christian male power structure, of which you're a part, and so am I. And they want to bring in millions of foreign nationals.
All right, there it is. I didn't put my headphones on. So I play that. I play that occasionally because I need people to understand that the right in this country, they are crystal clear about what they're fighting for. And if you are a black person willing to fight for that same thing, not only will they embrace you as a real American, but they will enrich you. You will be rich. You will be famous. You will get power. And that's what we're fighting against. And those same people, you're going to have black folks, you're going to have some Muslim folks who are on the payroll of white supremacy. You're going to have women, you're going to have LGBTQ people who are all on the payroll, or for whatever reason they want to protect it, whether they're getting paid or not. They want to protect this power structure. They are all going to come to the defense of Donald Trump being broke. They're going to justify it. They're going to explain it away, and they are going to ignore. This is the most critical part. They are going to ignore the fact that he is for sale to the highest bidder. They know it. They see it. They don't care. Because why? Because Donald Trump is helping the conservative evangelicals get their theocracy. Donald Trump is helping the billionaires and the oligarchs get their tax breaks. And he's making sure that nothing fundamentally changes for us. For those of us who are fighting for progress. He's cracking down on us. He's bringing the police state down on us. He's violating our First Amendment rights, the right to free speech and to the free press. The journalists are getting abused in these streets. And so it's a trifecta for them. They don't care if he sells America to the highest bidder. because they get what they want. All right. That's a good question here. This is a good comment. I want to pull up Jolly McFarland's comment on the screen. He says, so remember how Trump pulled troops out of Syria against the general's wishes? Turns out Turkey, who wanted our troops gone, paid Trump $13 million to use his name on some tower. Are we going to look into that or question mark? Everything is for sale. That I covered that story extensively a year and a half ago when it was happening because of how it was an all-out betrayal of the Kurdish people of Kurdistan. He abandoned the troops, the YPG, the Peshmerga. I never pronounced that word right, but you know what I mean. The soldiers, the Kurds, who laid down their lives to help us beat ISIS, Donald Trump betrayed them. And he betrayed them in favor of Turkey and their president Erdogan. And the fact that he got something out of that tangible for himself, people don't want to draw that connection, but I will. Donald Trump is for sale to the highest bidder. One of the things that stood out to me in the New York Times piece was the fact that Donald Trump, there was no endorsement too big and no endorsement too small, from something that was worth tens of millions of dollars all the way down to an endorsement deal with Domino's Pizza for $500,000. So he sold his name to Domino's for $500,000. You think he won't pull troops out of Kurdistan, out of northern Syria rather, in exchange for $13 million when he's $200 million in debt? Against the wishes of our generals, against the wishes of the soldiers on the ground, right? Against the wishes of the soldiers on the ground that were being pulled out because they fought alongside the Kurds to defeat ISIS. And then we just abandoned the Kurds. Not we, Donald Trump abandoned them for $13 million. Do you get paid by the left just trying to be non-biased? I get paid by my supporters. Patreon.com/the BPD show. We just had a patron party this weekend. They support me and give me free, complete, and total autonomy. I don't have to answer to anybody but my patrons. And if my patrons don't feel like I'm speaking truth, if they feel like I'm selling out, then they leave. That's it. And just recently I started making money on some ad revenue, which I hate. This is a whole nother show. But I hate doing videos that the best performing videos on YouTube for me are the ones I hate doing the most. I enjoy doing this, talking to the people, getting your feedback and stuff. But then, if you want to do good on YouTube, you got to say something like, Trump gets slammed by so and so and so and so. And then everybody goes and click on that and you get 300,000 views and you make some money. Whatever. That's just the way of the algorithm. Be sure to check out the movie Social Dilemma because it talks about that. And I hate the part that I play in that because I get rewarded the more content I do about Trump gets slammed. Now, I don't mind doing it because Donald Trump is an existential threat to this country. So it's very rare that my moral consciousness can line up with the financial opportunity. Everybody needs to see every video which Donald Trump gets slammed because we need to make sure everybody is aware that we need to get our butts to the poll. Get your booty to the poll November 3rd because Donald Trump is an existential threat to this country. But if you ask me what I prefer to do, I prefer to just sit here and talk. I don't get paid for these videos. Patreon.com/the BPD show though. Podcast. My podcast is popping for a whole lot. We got about 3,000 people here across all the platforms. Go to thebenjamindixonshow.com to get the podcast or go to iTunes. And again, only people who pay me are my patrons and YouTube. Hashtag walk away. Nobody walking away from nothing. Got a lot of trolls on YouTube, but let's talk about it. Biden says blacks First of all, I know you're not a black person because black people don't refer to ourselves as blacks. We say black people, black men, black women. Blacks can only vote blue. If you want to fight, no, let me restart that sentence. I don't really go watch my catalog to find out what I really feel about Joe Biden. Plenty of videos about what I feel about Joe Biden. But let me tell you something. Donald Trump will be the end of our country. We are already on the edge. Our country, every other president before us, particularly like the last couple, they put their own smiling face on top of our broken country. Our country has been broken for a very long time. It did not start with Donald Trump. Donald Trump came in and said, I don't care if our country is broken. I can make more money off of its brokenness. So let me pour salt into the open wounds of America. Let me exploit and exacerbate the problems of America because that's my pathway to the White House. And if I make it to the White House, then I can pay off all my debts. So while the problems pre-existed Donald Trump is exacerbating them to the nth degree. And because of that, Donald Trump is an existential threat. I'm a leftist. Most of my liberal friends call me a socialist. Most of my communist friends call me a liberal, so I don't really care about what you call me. I do know we have problems in this country that go far beyond Donald Trump, but I see a clear and present danger in Donald Trump, and that's why he must go. So to my friend who is clearly not black because he referred to us as the blacks, I don't care what Joe Biden says. I will vote for Rumpelstiltskin at this point. I will vote for a dialect at this point. Donald Trump has to go because at least democracy will live to fight another day, like AOC said. All right, let's keep moving. Everybody take a second to pause and share, like, and subscribe. If you are on Facebook, do me a favor, go over to Twitch. I'm trying to grow my presence on Twitch so we can get that ad revenue over there and so that we can build this media company that needs to be so desperately built. But so go to Twitch. Follow me on twitch.tv/Benjamin P. Dixon. Yeah, Pops. I mean, look, why doesn't it just go on the screen? Hello. Add that to the screen. Go. Thank you. When you say blacks, you automatically let me know that you're not one of us. Okay? I'll put this on the screen from YouTube. And again, like, listen. I would tell anybody, and actually let me warn everybody. We have a whole bunch of new people here today who've never been here. Let me give you a fair warning. My best work is criticizing the Democratic Party because I got a lot to say. They have a lot of culpability in this, but we need a respite. We needed a ceasefire. We needed an armistice because we have an enemy in common that is a greater threat to everything that we're trying to do. I'm only telling you this because November 4th, win, lose, or draw, I'm going back. I got to go back and give the Democrats this heat because they are a problem, in my opinion. But I can't turn a blind eye to what Donald Trump is doing and the danger that he poses. He poses a serious threat to this country. We automatically assume that America will always be here. There is a generation at some point in the future that will be the last generation of Americans, even if for no other reason than we've been so successful that we have to leave the planet and go live somewhere else, right? It doesn't always have to be disaster. That fly is going to get on my nerve. That fly is going to get on my nerves. Sorry. But there will be a generation where it is the last generation of Americans as we know it. We cannot assume that America will always be here because that assumption may very well lead us to our generation being the last generation of Americans. And I'm sorry, I got kids. You saw my baby boy at the beginning. I've got kids. I need desperately to leave them a stronger country than what I had. Because what kind of father would I be if I just sit back and say, oh, just let it all burn? I got to try first. Got to try. Got to try. We got Periscope, which is Twitter. Tony says vote Trump out and then vote Biden out. Bill says he's voting for Biden Harris. Let's get a couple more comments on the screen. Somebody said exterminate. So I'm really late on this one. I said that one way back. That was a dialect reference. Dave from Twitter agrees. Y'all about to see me get so country because I swear to God, I'm about to get a fly swatter and swat the hell out of this fly. I hope there's no fly rights people in here. I appreciate this, Lori. Lori said she has no children, but she will fight for mine. Eyes That See on YouTube said that we may be the last humans. And okay, I'm going to pull this. This is a question, and feel free to put your questions in. We're going to kick it for a few more minutes. I have my entire sleep schedule is off. I'm so used to getting up at 5 in the morning, and I haven't been able to because we've been doing these late broadcasts. But let's get a couple more questions in. This is from Chester on Facebook. He said, how do you feel about people that are saying they're not voting for Biden, but they're voting for Harris, thinking that she will be the next president after one term of Biden? I think it makes Joe Biden is old, and he said, I think he said one term. So, I guess the real question is, what do I think about Harris? And, well, she and my wife are in the same sorority. I'll leave it at that. Sally on Facebook says Trump is nothing but a Hitler in orange face paint. Let me tell you why I'm okay with this comparison. One, because he's a fascist. Let's just make it clear. Donald Trump is a fascist. And he has targeted everyone who is not. He sees two Americas, the Americans who serve him and those who don't. If you will serve and worship Donald Trump, he loves you publicly. In private, he thinks you're disgusting and he doesn't want to shake your hand and he's happy that COVID is here because he doesn't want to shake your hand. You saw that clip, I think it was Olivia Joy. I forgot her last name, but Olivia, who used to work for Mike Pence, said that she overheard him herself say that he thought his supporters were disgusting. So publicly, he's going to love you. Privately, he thinks you're disgusting, but nevertheless, he's a fascist. So that's why I have no problem comparing him to the biggest fascist in history, which is Adolf Hitler. Here's a second reason. We're performing hysterectomies, forced hysterectomies in ICE detention centers. Okay? We are committing human rights violations against immigrants, against asylum seekers. And what happened in the Holocaust did not start the way it ended. I think that's one of the most important things to point out. Like, people wait until you see concentration camps full of emaciated bodies and mass graves to label Donald Trump as a fascist. And I'm sorry, but I know a prelude to a war crime and to a human rights crime when I see one. And the prelude started 4 years ago when he got the entirety of his coalition to point all of their hatred towards immigrants and Muslims. That was a prelude. And then when he did the Muslim ban, that was a prelude. And now we're in the full-blown big stages of human rights violations with these forced hysterectomies. And so for people who are like, I don't really know if we can call him a fascist or not, what are you waiting on? Are you waiting on, you're waiting on actual concentration camps with emaciated bodies and mass graves? Because then, in my opinion, then you've been complicit with it. You got to have some foresight, enough foresight to see a prelude to a disaster instead of waiting and say, oh, well, is it technically a mass grave? There's 49 bodies in there and a real mass grave is 50 bodies. And I'm saying this because I run into that all the time, and I know you do too. You run into people all the time, say, oh, stop calling him Hitler. He's not Hitler. Are you going to wait for him to become a full-blown Hitler to oppose him as if he was? Because everything that he's doing points to that. Let's keep going. Hilda on Facebook. Do me a favor, if you're watching on Facebook, like that channel. Like that channel. Let's get this on the screen here. Why are you not working? It's going to make me upset. There we go. Thank you, Diane. Honestly, stand up for our democracy, folks. Listen, I got a lot of problems with America in general. I can list them pretty quickly. Capitalism is a problem. American imperialism is a problem. America not addressing its crimes, both present and past, it is a problem. The fact that we don't take the fact that we have so much wealth and we refuse to take care of the least of these is a problem. There's so many problems. I can do probably a 10-hour show just on my problems with the United States of America. That said, we can't fix our problems if we don't have a country. We can't resolve our problems if we don't have a country. If it comes to that, it's whatever. It comes to that. I get my kids, my family out of here on the first flight, getting out of here. I'll stay. But I have no flights of fantasy about that as some type of idealistic solution to our problems. You don't fix America by destroying America. You can't. You don't rise back from the ashes of a civil war on that scale or any kind of war on that scale. And even if you do, you're rising up on the ashes of an entire generation's hopes and dreams and actual bones and bodies and families and daughters and sons and mothers. Look at Syria, right? So people who are sitting around thinking that it's not worthwhile fighting to save our democracy, what they're actually saying is that they're okay with America being destroyed because they think that that is a better solution to all of the problems that I can enunciate probably better than they can. And what I'm saying is, I've got children, beautiful children, got a beautiful wife, finally starting to do okay in our life. And I want to put all of that to work to help other people. And I can't do that if we're locked into some unnecessary war that has been started by the narcissist in chief in the White House. So fight for our democracy, get your butt to the poll and vote this man out. I know, like Papa Red. Papa Red said, roll up a newspaper and go to work. We don't mind. I'm going to go to work on this fly. They're talking about the fly. Gene Porter. Hang on. Let's see what Gene. Come on here. This is interesting. Gene Porter says, several folks in my family blocked me because I posted your live discussions. I'm glad the trash took itself out. I mean, I think my discussions are nice. Are my discussions block worthy? You kind of gotta, I mean, don't share my podcast now. My podcast is a whole nother level. Like, I'm welcoming you into my home. Like, I just want to see if you were up, if you wanted to talk. Like, we just kind of kicking it and vibing. If I had a little, a little cognac, I don't, but all I got is some herbal tea. We're just vibing. Why would somebody block you for sharing this? Now, share my podcast. That's block worthy. This is a good question, good point right here. From Jay Real. White supremacist group not being treated like the homegrown terrorists they are is a problem. Here's why this is important. I need everybody to do this with me. How many people we got left? 2,500 people. I'm not going to ask you to share. This is what I'm asking you to do. I want everybody to just say, white supremacy is real. Just do that for me. White supremacy is real. Okay. One more time. White supremacy is real. Now, if that made you uncomfortable, here's why it's important, why you needed to say it. Because the people who are going to be at the polls on November 3rd with their AR-15s and their camouflage and their gas masks, and they're there to observe the election for Donald Trump. They are white supremacist militia groups. Their ideology is rooted in white supremacy, and they are doing the bidding and the service of Donald Trump. So if you are a liberal friend or whatever, and you don't believe that white supremacy is real, you're going to see it on November 3rd. It's going to be wrapped in the name of Donald Trump. But when Donald Trump is dead and gone, it's still going to be what it always was, white supremacy. I see y'all. I see all y'all in the chat room. I'm sorry for the super chats. I don't get them fast enough. Here's a good one. I got this most recent one. Thank you for the super chat on YouTube from Nelson Rudolph. $5. He says, the Lincoln Project, Republicans against Trump, racism, fascism, incompetence, 200,000 plus a decade, a 4-decade black Republican. So I tell you, there are such, real quick, because I'm actually getting kind of tired. I need to carry my butt to bed. There are plenty of black conservatives. Okay. The funny thing is that the Republican Party could destroy the Democratic Party for generations to come because black people are overwhelmingly conservative, and that's rooted in our religiosity. I grew up in the black church. I'm a Christian. Believe in Jesus. Jesus is my homeboy. Nothing moves me more. I can't wait till this pandemic is over. I just want you to understand, kind of person. I cannot wait till this pandemic is over so I can go back into the house of the Lord, and I'm going to run around that sanctuary like I lost my mind. I'm just going to be running. I'm going to go crazy, okay? I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Black people are conservative because of our religiosity. We pretty much were all born in the black church, okay? So Republicans could divide the black vote for generations to come if they did one thing: stop being racist as racists. They are so committed to their racism that they would lose a political hegemony, like an entire generation of Republican domination, because they would split the black vote in half. They just can't bring themselves to do it. Why? Because they're so committed to their racism that they're willing to have to invalidate and roll back our Voting Rights Act, our voting rights, in order to win, instead of just stop being a racist. They would rather go through all of the hurdles of gerrymandering every 10 years to win, instead of just stop being a racist. They would have to go through all the fundraising and all of the, breaking campaign finance laws, instead of just stop being. All they had to do was stop being a racist, and they wouldn't get me because I know better, but they would get a lot of the black vote. because our conservatism is rooted in religiosity. But instead what they've done is they've left so many black people. It's the Lord's doing. They left them so that I can explain to them that Republicans' Christianity is a facade. They don't worship Jesus. They don't worship your God. They worship the God that was okay with lynching you on Saturday night and going to church on Sunday morning. Okay? They worship capitalism. They worship mammon. They worship money. They are not the children of Israel in the narrative of Pharaoh in the book of Exodus. They are Pharaoh that we had to get deliverance from. And the reason they can't back away from their racism is because their hearts are hardened, just like Pharaoh. And it's hardened to it is just, they can't let it go because it has served them. It has served them through slavery. It served them through Jim Crow. It serves them now. And so they would rather go the hard way they would rather cheat the system. They would rather break the Constitution, break the law. They would rather do all that than to just give up their racism, which would give them political dominance for the foreseeable future. But they can't do that because their hearts are hardened, because they are Pharaoh. They are not our kindred. Mike on Facebook. Republicans exploiting the Bible and Christianity. What a joke. Yeah. Their God, Amaral, says their God is the Republican Party. Yep. A lot of folks on Facebook tonight. Love it. Samuel on Twitter and Periscope says, preach, brother, preach. Yeah, Cindy wants to know what happened to taxes. Hang on, let's add this. Cindy wants to know what happened with taxes for Trump. We went over that in kind of great detail at the beginning, like the first, how long have we been on here now? For the first 35 minutes. Now it's a free-for-all. Whatever you ask, we'll discuss. I'll stay on. I usually do these for an hour and a half, so at least I'll stay on to an hour and 15 minutes. We'll put about 8 more minutes. So I answer any questions that you guys have on your mind. This is our largest stream to date. We hit 3,000 across all platforms. Right now, we still have 2,200 people. So wherever you are, click the share, like, and subscribe. Support what we do. You don't have to spend any money to support, but let's play these algorithms against itself. Let's share it and like it, and that'll boost the ratings and bring more people. And if you want more of my content, you can go to the Benjamin Dixon Show, or just Google my name, Benjamin Dixon. I'm out there. Seething Simeon says, vote blue. Yeah, man. Yeah, my friend, I don't know, gender nonconforming, I don't know. So yeah, vote blue. Vote blue. I'm not excited about it. I'd be lying if I said I don't think I've said affirmatively that I'm voting for Joe Biden, but one time. I consider myself a socialist, so I got a problem with Joe Biden. But listen, America's problems are a cancer. Donald Trump is a bullet wound. Let's stop the hemorrhaging from the bullet wound, and then let's get some treatment for the cancer that America has growing in it. As simple as that. I don't think we have an America to save, to fix. I don't think there's an America to build a progressive future on with Donald Trump in power. So yeah, vote blue. Man, so many comments coming in so quick. Let's see this super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Kimberly said, Southern Christianity is based on white supremacy. Forgotten the author of the book, White Too Long. And actually, I haven't, the first time hearing about that book, so I will check it out and try to digest it. I appreciate this. Christian from YouTube says solidarity, Comrade Ben. I appreciate that. Gene doesn't agree. Oh no, Gene does agree. Hang on. Gene says, amen to that, brother. I appreciate that. Who is that didn't go? Oh, Betty. Betty doesn't agree. Betty said, you're a joke. YOU''RE, a joke. Okay. Real quick, like you got to be a joke. Okay. Somebody asked me what's my take on David Pakman. David Pakman is my friend, homeboy. He helped me out when I first got started years ago. Nothing bad to ever say about him. Democratic Marty Mouse is, I know Marty. We know each other from Twitter well. Yeah, I mean, listen, sorry you disagree. Sorry you disagree. But I've been saying, I mean, it's clear as day for me. We don't have an America with Donald Trump. He is playing on the fault lines that pre-existed him. But he is pouring salt into open wounds that we can't just so easily recover from. 4 more years of Donald Trump. I mean, these bastards won. And what did they do when they won in 2016? 2017, they go to Charlottesville and they march and they kill Heather Heyer. Right? That's when they won. So what do you think they're going to do if they win again? They've gone even further. They've upped the stakes. I don't like Joe Biden, but whether I like him or not right now is immaterial. I know we got to get rid of Donald Trump. So, I mean, that's what it is. It is Christo-fascism. Yes, fascism. It's late. My tongue is tired. It is Christo-fascism, and it is a seamless marriage between corporatism, theocracy, and fascism. Because I mean, we oftentimes forget that fascism is itself corporatism, and what it is the plutocrats are totally okay with the theocrats running a theocracy, manipulating and controlling the lives of people who don't have enough money and enough power to be untouchable, and dominating through religious dogma that would never touch the plutocrats, that would never touch the oligarchs, the billionaires who are still running industry and finance, still making money, still getting their quarterly profit margins. That doesn't change because the theocracy is not a threat to corporatism. And along the backdrop of that is an authoritarian society, is a fascistic society. It is the vilification of target groups because they will always have a villain. It's not as though when they win and they get what they want, they're going to be done with us. Because when they won, they came after us even more. So victory for them is not peace for everybody. It's not as though we could just stop fighting them and they would leave us alone. They're not going to be satisfied with just overturning Roe versus Wade. They're not going to be satisfied with overturning Obergefell versus Hodges, the marriage equality Supreme Court decision. They're not going to be satisfied overturning that. They're not going to be satisfied at rolling back the voting rights. They're not going to be satisfied because they always are going to need a villain. And so if you're okay with this entry phase of fascism, this neo-fascism that we have, then at what point will you say, okay, it's time for me to step in and do something about it? Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy itself. This is not a, you know, I can't, if you can't see it, I can't convince you, and I'm not even going to try no more. If folks can't see that, I can't help them. This is funny. Settle for blue. There it is. Settle for blue. I'm gonna put this guy's comment back on the screen since he's just trolling this comment section. Actually, no. This is not a troll. I want to actually put up. This is a good question from Jonathan on YouTube. So Ben, what do we do in 2024 when we have a Harris versus Tucker Carlson election? Are we back to square one and it's already exhausting pushing the Democrats? Not trying to come at you. So please, my dude, don't take this the wrong way. But if we wait to 2024, then we deserve to lose. If we wait until 2024 to figure out what we're going to do in 2024, then we deserve to lose. What I'm saying is, if we can buy ourselves just 6 more months, a year, then we need to do everything we need to do in that year to be prepared for every election, not just the election of 2024, but the 2021 elections, the off-year elections, the local city councils, mayors, 2022, whoever's up for governor that year, the legislatures, the state legislatures, 2023, another off-year election. And not even just wait for those elections, but organizing on the ground, right? Making sure that we have mutual aid organizations to support people across this country who need support, especially those people who are on the front lines doing the putting their bodies on the line in these protests. Like, there's so much work to do between now and then. You think I'm going to wait to you think I'm going to wait to 2024? Again, I'm not coming for you, but I think it's an excellent question that a lot of people need to consider, right? You think the next time you're going to hear from me is 2024? Y'all going to hear from me every day. I'm going to be streaming every damn day. I'm going to be streaming. I'm going to be building these platforms. I'm going to be getting these clicks. I'm going to be raising this money. I'm going to be hiring people to work with me, work for me. I'm going to be expanding the platforms. Why? Because I know the role that media plays. The role that media plays in this is just as critical. Not more important, but it's just as critical. So I'm going to be doing my part every damn day. So we need you, not just the person who posted a question. We need everybody on the opposite side of my camera to be doing your part every single day so that when 2024 rolls around, we're coming with a lot more punch. It's like me waiting to me waiting to fight these people I'm about to fight to get in shape and fight them. Nah, I'm bruising my knuckles now so that when I run up on them, rhetorically speaking, obviously, But check this out. One last thing about that, and I'm so glad you asked that question, right? Again, I'm not coming for you because I think it's an excellent question. If we get at least a year, 2 years, we can actually stand a chance. You collapse that down to nothing, and we put these people back in power for another 4 years. What do we have time for? What do we have time to build? We're already behind the 8 ball, so we won't have any time. Hang on. Let me scroll back up. Somebody said something that I absolutely agree, and I got to put it on here. I love Nina Turner too. Nina Turner is my sister from another mister. I love it. Yes, on YouTube, you have the power to block people. If somebody's there who's trolling you and you don't like them, you go ahead and block them yourself. Hey, Betty, I'm going to give you an opportunity here, Betty. Betty, I want you to hear me real quick, Betty. And I'm going to go to bed on this one because I'm about to get out of pocket. Betty, let me put your question back on the screen, Betty. Y'all don't know anything. That's why you're on here. She got the Y-O-U, she got the apostrophe R-E right this time. Good. Because you believe the BS. Betty. Seriously, Betty. God, forgive me. I'm gonna be arrogant for a second. There's not a conservative on the face of the planet who wants to smoke with me. They don't want the smoke. Intellectually, rhetorically, figuratively. Well, I'm sure some of them literally would want to fight. So I'm not going to say that one. I ain't going to be that stupid. But in terms of this information and knowledge and the political debates that we have, like, it's easy to say you don't know nothing, when in reality, there's not a person that you admire on the conservative spectrum that would want to hold a flame to me. Period. Now, God, forgive me for being arrogant, but I just need you to know that. And I say that with the confidence of, with just the confidence that is due. Okay. And maybe you should go and tell all of your conservative heroes that I think that they are intellectually inept, grievously disingenuous, could not hold a coherent, logical argument to save their lives, because if they did act in good faith and try to argue a coherent, logically coherent argument, then it would inevitably lead to the fact that they are lying to all of you and that they are wrong. But because they know everything that they say is rooted in bad faith, they have to twist the truth. They have to manipulate the truth. They have to make empty arguments that are devoid of any consistency, any logical consistency whatsoever. And so they do that just to have something to say. But if they ever sat down and try to have an argument in good faith, they would lose. Why? Because they are wrong. Period. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Love and grace and peace and all that stuff. I'll see you next time. Share, like, and subscribe.